Hello everyone and welcome to MRC Live. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight for the 15th round of our North American Xbox League. This is our Tier 1 drivers with Tier 2 having just finished up. We're in very wet conditions here in Singapore this week. And right now we have all of our drivers taking to the outlaps at the moment. Trying to dry out the track a little bit and see who's leading the field. Looks like MRC Capital Hood starting his first hot lap of the day, following GOR Reimer. And we were unsure if Cap was going to make this race, but looks like thankfully he has, as he's negotiating his way around turn 3 right now in very cautious form. Going very easy on the throttle there, as we'll pull up his telemetry to see exactly just how tenderly he's going to have to work his way around this very technical street circuit. As Capital Hood now works his way down the back straight, past the Singapore Parliament building. We will quickly pull up a numbered map here, as I am notoriously terrible with figuring out where on street circuits our competitors are at, as Cap is now working his way down Raffles Boulevard, I believe, approaching turn... No, completely wrong. St. Andrews Road. Now we're working our way through 11 and 12. This Cap is really struggling to keep the rear end of his Formula Renault planted. Now working our way through Sector 3, just a few turns left in this lap. See what kind of time the first car across the line sets, as GOR Reimer crosses with a 156.8. Pretty slow. Capital Hood not far behind with a 156.9. Borat so far as your provisional leader for now, driving for Alpha. And apparently your boy Tie-Dye Tiger just went 4th place. Look at that. Commentating and qualifying. It's not easily done, folks, but here we are with MRC Cyclone now. Working his way around turn 8 onto Stamford Road, as B-Dunk driving for Williams is your new provisional pole sitter with a 155. And I'm quickly going to see if I can retire my driver so I don't cause any incidents. I'm driving for Haas, which would never happen. I'm gonna have to hop in Discord to see what we can do about this. This is a whole new sort of issue. Cody's always keeping things fresh for MRC, as Cyclone rounds the last corner now and crosses the line over 2 minutes around this lap. He's going to be looking to improve on that time later on in qualifying. Still over 11 minutes to go. Plenty of time left for our drivers. Now on board with the McLaren of Delirious, passing the stranded racing point of Sosa. Unfortunately, Delirious's teammate is serving a qualifying ban after last week's massive start incident at Monza. So far, Delirious puts in a 159.7, the only time of McLaren for the day, as Sosa comes back into the pits to repair that front ring. MRC Ramrod is giving it a go. Actually looks like he's just taking another lap just to get used to these conditions, as he is in ERS mode 0. We do have a caution in Sector 1. It's pretty unusual for qualifying. Must not have been too large of an incident, as it's already cleared. Oh, but as we're back down with the Williams of Ramrod, looks like he has lost it. Going into turn 13, I believe, we have the Ferrari of MRC Kirk working his way around the stranded Williams. Struggling with that turning radius there to get it sorted out once again, as we can't change the camera for some reason. Ramrod gets it back on track without any issue. We'll see if Kirk gave up on that lap. He's still in ERS mode too, still going for it. We'll see if he can improve on his previous best of a 157.9. Unfortunately not, with a 206. Incident with Ramrod really did cost him quite a few seconds there. We have another double caution in Sector 2. This time it is for the Toro Rosso of Reimer in the same turn, I believe. Followed closely behind by me. What am I doing? How does the... Oh, man. Cody's, please. Please. So this might be my, if I cause any incidents, this is going to be my first penalty points here in MRC. Valerius taking another stab at it. Nope, it's his in-lap. He's going to be pulling back into the pits for some fresh tires as the rain looks to be letting up just a little bit here in Singapore. WOT is in ERS mode 5, working his way down St. Andrews Road. WOT now working his way through turns 20 and 21, just 2 to go. As he's going to be pulling back into the pits, we'll take a look at MRC Kirk, who is also going to follow WOT back in. Capital Hood and B-Dunk are pulling back out onto the tracks with some fresh intermediate tires. We'll see what they can do with those. Muffin Man also returns to the pavement with some Pirelli intermediates as well, driving for Mercedes. Get a great look at the very difficult turn 11 there as we work our way over the Anderson Bridge, then heavy on the brakes for the acute angled turn 13. All the way down to first gear in the wet. Muffin Man, a very brave Muffin Man indeed. Now working our way onto Esplanade Drive, and we have a double caution in Sector 3. Probably just Capital Hood making some room for his second attempt at a hot lap for the day. A little over 7 minutes remaining in this qualifying session as he teases it through turn 3. About 50% throttle on application and still losing the rear end on exit. A caution in Sector 2, just going to take a quick look through. It is MRC Jay Warren on his outlap, unable to get heat into those tires. B-Dunk also starting his second hot lap of the day. As Capital Hood continues to work his way around the track, we're going to take a quick look at the Red Bull of Brackish, slowly closing the distance to MRC Jay Warren just ahead of him. Excuse me, that was the Toro Rosso of Reimer, pulling out of his way there. Have to be very careful with the track limits of turn 11 there, as we're probably going to see a lot of our drivers picking up penalties there, as Brackish has a little bit of a Scandinavian flick entry through turn 13 there. Working his way around Singapore in dramatic fashion as looks like the Williams of B-Dunk going flying by, approaching turn 14. B-Dunk is looking quick and composed for sure. Claire Williams sitting on the edge of her seat back in the garage as B-Dunk getting very pushy with the track limits now in third sector. Another way under the grandstands now as Capita Hood fires back at B-Dunk and takes provisional pole by just a tenth of a second with a 155.8. B-Dunk so far out of 150. He's going to be coming back into the pits. That was looking like a pretty fast lap, but not in the mind of B-Dunk. As Jay Warren's still working his way around back to the pits. Sosa starting another outlap on intermediates as Muffin Man finishes his second stab at it, looking to get under 2 minutes, and he does with a 159.7, puts him just behind me, who's exiting onto my second outlap. As Jay Warren, Brackish, Ramrod, and Sosa really struggling to find not even pace, but just general grip around this very difficult street circuit under what are probably some of the most some of the most challenging conditions that this game has to offer. Jay Warren with a big lockup there, as none of our Tier 1 drivers are using assists as decreed by the MRC rules. And here we have the Ferrari of MRC Kirk, starting his second hot lap of the day, working his way down Republic Boulevard. Heavy onto the brakes now past the Parliament buildings. Now into turn 11 over the Anderson Bridge. Looks like the curbs on exit there unsettled the rear end just a little bit. Struggles to get it turned in for turn 13, but then back on the power up till 7th gear. Keeps it in 6th in the rain, very wise. Now work our way onto Esplanade Drive. Into opposing 90-degree chicanes. One to the right there, then back to the left under the grandstands here. As Kirk negotiates these with ease. Now we work our way back into one more 90 chicane to the right through the DHL branding. And now through the last 2 turns to conclude his lap. Keep our eyes on the time board, see where Kirk winds up with a 156.9. Improves his time up into 5th place, just ahead of Double OT. Here we have the Alfa Romeo of MRC Borat taking another stab at getting on the starting row. Just over 2 minutes left in qualifying in Singapore until the start of this MRC NAXBL T1 Grand Prix. And I am your new race leader. Bow down and pay respects. Boogity, boogity, boogity. With a 154.2, a full second and a half faster than our current championship leader. Skills. As Borat now works his way around turn 21. Approaching the conclusion of his lap, his time is looking good so far to take me off the podium here. Just over a minute to go as Borat crosses the line, and he does with a 152.6. Borat is in provisional pole in brilliant fashion as Jay Warren and Ramrod pull back out onto the tracks one last time to try to get a time in. MRC Cyclone is working his way down Raffles Boulevard, I believe. As we have double yellows in Sector 2 and 3, everybody's scrambling to try to get one last hot lap in before the start of this race. Cyclone now working his way around turn 17, no issues there. Another double caution in Sector 2. Cyclone now charging towards the finish. It's gonna be close, but he should improve, and he does with a 157.3, puts him up into P9 and in the points range for the start of this race. Delirious now chasing down the Red Bull of Formula Rager just ahead of him. Oh, excuse me, that's a Ferrari? Can't really tell with all the, yeah, I think that's gotta be Kirk or Cyclone. As again, I've fired back at Borat and take back the fastest lap of this qualifying. And Reimer puts in a third place, 153.8. Great time from that Toro Rosso driver. Captain Hood is all the way back down to fourth place. Let's see if he can do anything to get back onto pole position for the start of this Grand Prix. He's worked his way towards turn 7 right now, turning onto the Nicole Highway. I'd like to take this moment to shout out MRC Ollie's, one of the best damn admins our league has. As Captain Hood now closing the distance to either Borat or Double OT, driving the Alpha just ahead of him, now crossing over the Andrews Bridge. Cap does very well to contend with a lot of oversteer there. And again, drifting around turn 13, absolutely beating this Renault with everything he's got. Heavy on the brakes there, does very well not to lock it up, as B-Dunk is your new race leader with a 152.3. He's going to be starting P1 as long as Captain Hood or Kirk can't do anything about it. Take a quick peek as Kirk crosses the line with a 155.2. He's up to 6th place as Delirious puts in a 154.4. Captain Hood now working his way around turn 21, charging towards the finish line. Sosa's up into P9, Formula Rager down to 10th. Double OT's been knocked out of the standings, but Double OT's back up into 4th place as Captain Hood crosses the line in 6th. If I got that right, and he does. Captain Hood starting on the 3rd row for this Grand Prix in very unusual form. As we have B-Dunk leading the field, followed by me, followed by MRC, Borat, Double OT, and DOR Reimer closing out your top 5. B-Dunk and Borat in a very close championship battle, so we're going to keep a close eye on those two off the start. I'm going to see again if I can retire from... Why is this... Why? Well, I'm just going to pray that I don't cause any incidents off the start. As we will load in for the start of this MRC NAXBL T1, round 15 of the Season 3 Championship. Like to also give a shout out to the Tier 2 commentator tonight over from the DRL Racing League. That was pretty redundant, but I think his name was Adam Z. Did a great job commentating our Tier 2 race today. Very exciting and professional delivery. So hopefully we get to hear more commentaries from him in the future, as this league is onwards and upwards. Waiting for everybody to now set their strategies, as thankfully we've loaded in under presumably pretty clear skies. Between the dark night and the bright lights of the pit lane, I can't really tell if there's much cloud cover in the skies, as the Singapore Grand Prix was the first ever night race held in the F1 calendar, due to the fact that if they held it during the day, it would be at night in England. So gotta have a darn tea time for the Brits, right? That's how it works. So Singapore had the mainly had the infrastructure for it, whereas, you know, a track like Hockenheimring, they would have to go put in lights all around the track to make a safe environment for the drivers to compete in, because, as everybody knows, Formula 1 cars have no headlights, brake lights, or any of that. Save weight, go fast. As B-Dunk will lead our drivers around the formation lap. Everybody getting ready for the start, settling into their rigs. Working our way around turn 5 now onto Raffles Boulevard past the casino. A little bit of a tease to the right as I pass B-Dunk. Not really sure what's happening there. Unless the Haas is driven by Chandler, who usually drives for Haas, and Cody's just messed up and is displaying my gamer tag for Chandler, so I'm gonna presume that that's what's happening here. Can't really be too sure, but just judging by the way he's driving his formation lap, that's not AI. So yeah, we're gonna call that as Chandler for the rest of the day, even if it's not. I mean, I should know what his helmet looks like by now, but unfortunately I don't. As we'll take a quick look through the field here, MRC Borat and MRC OOT, the two teammates starting right next to each other, locking out the second row. DOR Reimer and MRC Capitol Hood are in a very tough position for the start of this race. They're going to have their eyes in front, but also keep the eyes on both sides in their side view mirrors, trying to make sure nobody gets the jump on them off the start. Delirious and MRC Kirk are going to be the main guys looking to make moves on Cap and Reimer early on. Both of these drivers very skilled, and both are going to be very eager to be looking to make moves early. Following them is Kirk's teammate Cyclone, another very skilled competitor to the MRC field. And in 10th place, finishing out our points contention starters, we have our only Mexican entrant in the field, Sosa, the one and only. No longer fun. All race, all serious, all the time. As we have Mercedes starting from the very end of the field. We'll hop on board with B-Dunk for the start of this race. Oh, Borat has the wide view as the eyes are on the lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're out and away we go. We're racing. B-Dunk leads the field. Everybody gets away without any issues so far. Little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact between Toro Rosso and OOT, but everybody gets through with their head on straight. B-Dunk continues to lead, followed closely behind by Chandler. Borat and OOT right behind in third and fourth, trying desperately to stay in the draft, working our way down Raffles Boulevard. Capitol Hood looking to make a move on DOR Reimer for P5. Delirious not far behind either. But DOR Reimer has his sights set solely on OOT just ahead of him. DOR Reimer looking to the inside, can't apply the power. OOT is going to hold that spot, defends the inside line going into turn 13. As Muffin Man passes Sosa for P9. A quick look at the rest of our field working their way through. Formula Rager nipping at the heels of MRC Cyclone, trying to work an over-under, can't make it happen yet. The rest of our field gets through without issue. Chandler still close on the tail of B-Dunk. Borat not far behind. Reimer and OOT continuing to battle for P4. Capitol Hood just letting it kind of work itself out as we've almost made it a lap here without incidents. A great change from last week's start of madness at Monza. And there is the commentator's curse come to strike as Jay Warren has lost it into turn 17. Thankfully, looks like he doesn't have any damage though, as B-Dunk works his way across the start-finish line. Top three still very close together. Muffin Man looks to make a move on MRC Kirk. Kirk defends to the inside going into 7. As B-Dunk was passed by Chandler going out of turn 10. Unfortunately, I missed that. It looks like it was a pretty good move, as B-Dunk's already over half a second behind in pace. Borat over a second. Also have the McLaren of Shadow Wolf in 13th, looking to make his way through the field. As you remember, he starts from the back of the pack after serving his qualifying ban from last week's Monza incident. Formula Rager now very close to Sosa, still trying to just stay in the draft as Brackish works his way around Ramrod. Capital Hood now under a little bit of pressure from behind in the form of the McLaren of Delirious, as Chandler puts in the new fastest lap of the race. Cap's still a little too far off the pace of Reimer to make a move going into turn 1. But it looks like Formula Rager might have been going for it, as Jay Warren picks up a 3-second time penalty for pushing track limits. Formula Rager engages DRS, trying to find a way around the racing point of Sosa. Sosa also has the assistance of DRS. Sosa defends to the inside. Formula Rager carrying a lot more momentum, works his way around the outside of the racing point. He's up into P10. Back down here in 12th and 13th, we have Shadow Wolf and Cyclone going wheel to wheel, as Cyclone holds the optimal line going into 12. He's going to take that position back from the attacking Shadow Wolf. Up here in 10th place, we have Formula Rager closing quickly to the diffuser of MRC Kirk. We also have Borat slowly working his way up to the second place B-Dunk. Formula Rager got a great run coming out of turn 17. Unfortunately, couldn't do anything with the speed going into 18. Very technical section of the track here as we work our way through the final turns of Sector 3. Very difficult to overtake as Kirk slaps the wall. Formula Rager positions himself to the inside going into the last turn, makes the pass stick. Kirk unfortunately down to 10th. Now he's going to be under pressure by the racing point of Sosa. Sosa looking to the outside, Kirk defending to the inside. Kirk very late on the brakes, see if he can keep it back for turn 2. He does, as he's going to hold P10 for now. A little bit of a lockup now. Sosa still right on his tails, as Cyclone is closing up to this scrap. Going to take a quick peek at MRC Borat up here in 3rd, trying to find a way around Borat, B-Dunk rather. B-Dunk got a great run out of there. Doesn't look like anything's going to happen as of yet, as Capital Hood continues to try to find a way around UR Reimer. Kirk still under attack by Sosa, who's under attack by Cyclone. All this battling has allowed Shadow Wolf to take another attempt at passing the Ferrari of Cyclone. Working our way through turn 11 now. Over the Anderson Bridge and onto Esplanade Drive. Shadow Wolf losing a little bit of pace compared to Cyclone. Kirk maintaining that P10. Starting to pull a bit of a gap over Sosa, almost up to a second now. Delirious continues to watch the battle unfold between Reimer and Capital Hood, using every inch of the curbing there against the wall there. Great driving from Delirious. Really on the attack right now. Muffin Man already up 4 positions today, as Kirk is pulling into the pits to... I'm not sure. He must have picked up some damage bouncing off the wall there. Lost the right end plate to his wing. Yeah, and he is going to be taking a new wing there, as well as some fresh tires. He's going to be coming back out onto the field in last place, but Much fresher tires than anybody else. See if he can adjust his strategy accordingly as Borat continues to pour on the attack towards B-Dunk. Looks like Brackish unfortunately disconnected but is back in the game. Borat now right on the rear wing of B-Dunk. Working our way around the tightest corner on the track, turn 13, as Jay Warren is up into 13th. Looks like Borat is definitely lapping faster than B-Dunk right now, but unfortunately cannot find a way to make a pass stick. See if he can make a move going into turn 1, coming up in just a couple corners here. Working our way onto the 6th lap. B-Dunk may start to feel a little bit of tire fatigue at this point, whereas Borat's hards are just going to be coming to life. Reimer's worked his way to within 3/10 of Double OT's pace. Double OT trying to defend, but looks like he's struggling for grip. As Reimer engages DRS, looks to the inside of Double OT approaching turn 7. Capital Hood follows Double OT. Double OT tries to make it stick around the outside, gets forced a little bit wide. Capital Hood jostling for position, trying to figure out who's going to make it through first. Double OT holds the position. Reimer back down to 5th place. Capital Hood continues to not be able to make anything happen to get past these guys. Delirious slowly catching up as Shadow Wolf is trading blows with Cyclone. In the same section of track here, still wheel to wheel, working our way towards turn 10 now. Cyclone just a little bit ahead. Wow, just eked out over Shadow Wolf there on entry as Cyclone holds P11. Formula Rager continuing to try to catch the Mercedes of Muffin Man. Muffin Man, Mercedes, Muffin Man, something like that. As Capital Hood picks up a 3-second time penalty for trying to find a creative way around Reimer. Oh, as Capital Hood tries to start a tandem train around the last corner, Delirious followed his initiation and shaved his front right end plate off. And Formula Rager now does make the pass around Muffin Man, but only because Muffin Man's pulling into the pits. Fourth, 5th, 6th, just a second separating these 3 competitors. Double OT seems to be pulling away just a little bit now. Shadow Wolf passes Cyclone for P10. He's already up 6 spots from his start of the race. Shadow Wolf on an absolute mission this week. Great to see him channeling last week's frustration into positive energy. Hope he continues that up until the end of this race. Still over 27 laps to go as Sosa picks up a 3-second time penalty for pushing the track limits. Borat's still trying to find a way around B-Dunk. B-Dunk making that Williams very wide, working our way through turn 18 now. As we approach the pit window, we're going to try to keep our eyes on that pit entry. Is known to be very exciting as there's not a lot of room to get your car over and slowed down, as it's pretty much on the apex of the last corner of this track. Borat engages DRS, now charging down Raffles Boulevard. B-Dunk defends to the inside. Borat gets right to his rear diffuser before positioning his car to the outside. B-Dunk throws it up the inside, defends P2, but Borat has the line going into turn 9 and picks up P2 as we work our way onto St. Andrews Road. B-Dunk's now going to set his sights from defense to attack. Let's see if he can take a stab back at the very aggressive Borat. But all that battling, unfortunately, has allowed Chandler to open up a 7-second gap over them, so he's going to start to run away with things if these two continue to battle, as Reimer picks up a 3-second time penalty for pushing track limits as well. Now right on the diffuser of OOT, OOT takes a middle line. Reimer tucks into his draft, takes a peek to the outside, approaching turn 14. OOT holds his ground well, continuing to defend. Reimer now has a wheel on the inside of OOT going into 18. Left enough room. Capital Hood got very sideways, lost his other end plate. As a result, OOT is now down to 5th. Capital Hood's going to have a lot of damage to that front wing at this point. I'm surprised he's still pushing that Renault with everything he's got. Delirious definitely feeling the lack of right end plate now, as his lap times definitely seem to be struggling. As it looks like OOT took a shot back at Reimer but couldn't make it stick. My mistake. Cap still has his right side end plate, just not his left, so manageable. Not ideal, but manageable. And if there's somebody that can do it, it is the fearless banana boat pilot. As OOT is still trying to find a way back around DUR Reimer. Bit of time starts to separate our back markers, as thankfully the rain has stayed away. We'll take a quick look at position changes for the day. B-Dunk unfortunately fallen a couple spots already from his starting spot. Kirk having an absolutely uncharacteristic race, down 7 spots. As we had a double caution, may have been for Jay Warren, I'm not too sure though. Kirk also was the first to pit. Ooh, looks like he's dealing with a little bit of oversteer there. So he might be able to put those fresh tires to use, but so far, looks like him and Jay Warren are really struggling, as we have a caution in Sector 3. Not too sure who that was for, as Reimer, OOT, and Capital Hood continue to battle for 4th. OOT and Cap are going to engage DRS now. Looks like Capital Hood's out of DRS range, though? Oh, no, it just didn't beep for me. As Kirk is now past the struggling Mercedes of Jay Warren. He's up into 14th place. Jay Warren picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding on initiation to the pit lane. That's always... I don't think there's anything more frustrating than having a bad race and then slapping some penalties on top of that. It's a so far, pretty much the same interval remains between Borat and our first place driver, Chandler, who's cameoing as me this week. Unfortunately, B-Dunk looks to be falling a little bit in terms of pace compared to Borat, already 5.5 seconds off his pace. And there's another 10 seconds separating this pack to the top 3 up there. As we're now on the 11th lap, just about a third of the way through this Grand Prix. Cap running very wide over the last turn there. Front end really struggling to bite at those higher speeds. Possibly another reason that this is traditionally a night race is it's the hottest race on the F1 calendar, the sweatiest race. So if they did run it in the day, the drivers, if it's already the hottest race and it's run at night, it would be pretty much unrealistic to expect them to try to compete during the day. As Muffin engages, DRS looks to the right side of Ramrod. He's going to work his way up into the 12th position without too much that Ramrod can do about it. Take a quick look, see if Ramrod's picked up any damage or anything as he was moving very slowly coming out of turn 7 there. Not sure what was happening there. Our leader is going to be pitting now. Jay Warren picks up another 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. A caution in Sector 3 and Sector 1. Sorry for the spam through the cameras there. Unfortunately, I could not figure out who it was. As Jay Warren has retired from the session. B-Dunk is also going to follow Chandler into the pits. Chandler exits right between Double OT and Capitol Hood. B-Dunk comes out just ahead of Shadow Wolf. Just behind Shadow Wolf, works his way up into 8th place. So far, great drive from McLaren so far today. As Chandler passes Double OT for 4th place. Capitol Hood now right on the rear diffuser of the Alfa Romeo. Now racing towards the Anderson Bridge, Double OT continues to lead Capitol Hood around. Formula Rager also applying a little bit of pressure to Delirious for 6th place. Let's see if the lone Red Bull driver can make anything happen here. As Double OT pulls into the pits, Capitol Hood's going to go up into 4th place. We're going to keep our eyes on B-Dunk trying to find a way around Shadow Wolf 14. And with the assistance of DRS, B-Dunk looks to the inside approaching turn 1. Gets the pass done before the braking zone without any issue as B-Dunk is back up into 7th place. Chandler passes Reimer for 2nd. We've got a caution in Sector 1. Oh no! Again, commentator's curse. It's Shadow Wolf 14 was having a great drive. Lost it going into, or coming out of 4. Not sure what happened there. We're going to try to get a look at his front wing, see what kind of shape that's in. Oof. It's a big oof. As double yellows in 1 and 2, both those have cleared. Ramrod passes Shadow Wolf for 13th place. Formula Rager continues to try to find a way around Delirious. Another double caution in Sector 2. Not sure who that was for. As Borat is still yet to pit, but is your current race leader for the time being. Formula Rager now right on the rear end of Delirious there. Looks like he might have missed his braking marker a little bit. Threw it very deep for 18. As Chandler goes fastest of the day with 140.1. Formula Rager lost almost a half second from that braking mistake there. He's going to pull into the pits for some fresh Pirellis. Let's see where he comes back out onto track. It's going to let B-Dunk back up into 6th place. Sosa should also be allowed, be able to work his way around the pitting Formula Rager. Oh, Kirk and Shadow Wolf get together in not too big of a way, but oh, Kirk's already missing a front wing anyways. I was gonna say that's unfortunate, but looks like both those drivers had to come back to the pits anyways, and it's just a little bit of a bump as Shadow Wolf retires from the session. That's just heartbreaking for Team McLaren, as he was having a great recovery drive early on for the day. But unfortunately, those hopes have been dashed in just one turn. Oh, Muffin Man and Cyclone get together. Muffin Man very late on the brakes. Cyclone a little bit early in his braking, but Muffin Man hopefully avoided too much damage to the front wing. Undoubtedly picked up a bit, but it's going to allow Double OT to work pretty close to his rear end now. Double OT trying to take a little peek there. Set something up as Reimer picks up a 3-second time penalty for pushing track limits. Muffin Man continues to nip at the heels of MRC Cyclone. Or at Absolute Mad Lad still yet to pit, as we see Cyclone coming in now. Reimer, Cap, Delirious, Sosa, and Ramrod still yet to pit. As Double OT throws the over-under on Muffin Man, they're going to be wheel-to-wheel working their way down Raffles Boulevard, but Double OT is going to have the assistance of DRS approaching turn 7. Muffin Man tucks in behind, as he's going to be relegated back down to 9th position. Take a quick look at B-Dunk as he continues his charge back to the front of the field. He's got the audio glitch, so we're not going to stay on board with him long. Hop on board with Delirious, who's now got his eyes full of Williams in the mirror. As Chandler again goes fastest of the day. As we pass one of Capital Hood's end plates there, sitting on turn 19. As we see MRC Capital Hood darting into the pits there. Finally, B-Dunk looks to the inside of Delirious, approaching turn 1 on the 16th lap, just over the halfway point. B-Dunk back up into 3rd place without issue. Delirious down into 4th. He's just going to continue to follow the Williams around, trying to put in good lap times. Reimer's going to be pulling back out onto the track momentarily. We're going to see where he comes out. Double OT has his sights set upon the racing point of Sosa. Double OT with a great line through 1, 2, and 3 there. Closing the distance rapidly to Sosa up there. As Reimer exits the pits without issue. Cap comes out as well without anybody for miles around. Double OT now within a 10th of the pace of Sosa. Sosa defends the inside line, approaching turn 7. Double OT runs around the outside of the track limits a bit, but is up into 5th place. Codemasters could use with a little bit of tighter track limits to ensure that you don't have illegal overtakes happening, but it's a sim, right? As Sosa's now in 6th place, driving for Racing Point. We'll take a quick look at the leader once more. See how things are going for Haas. Oh, excuse me, Borat's still in the lead, yet to pit, right. As he's got, 17 laps on those hard tires. I'm gonna see how far he can push these, as we have a double caution in Sector 2 in the form of MRC Ramrod. Lost it on corner exit in the Marina section. Looks like he was coming out of turn 17. No, excuse me, he was coming out of turn 14 there. Looks like Ramrod's really struggling with the brakes there at the moment, as Reimer's 2/10 off the pace of Muffin Man, working their way through turn 21 now. Muffin Man takes a very wide line on exit. Reimer still right behind him. Reimer engages DRS on the front stretch, crossing the start-finish line there. Reimer ducks to the inside. Muffin Man holds his line. Reimer makes his way up into 7th without too much of an issue. Muffin Man so far been driving a pretty smart race. He can link up with Reimer and just continue to put laps in. Hopefully they can work their way up to the racing point of Sosa. We have Ramrod pulling into the pits once more to replace some damaged wing bits, presumably. Brackish is slowly working his way up to the rear end of Cyclone. Now he's back in the game and behind the seat of his Red Bull. Kirk picks up P13 from a exiting Ramrod. Ramrod just half a second behind Kirk now on some fresh medium compound Pirellis. Kirk on some 18... Actually, what is Kirk on? As Capital Hood passes Formula Rager for 9th place. I'm struggling to think about tires here. As we take a look at DOR, Reimer back here in 7th place has now found his way to the rear diffuser of Sosa, working their way onto their 18th lap of this Singapore Grand Prix, presented by MRC. DOR Reimer is going to look to make a move. The inside approaching turn 1. Picks up P6 as Sosa picks up a 3-second time penalty for some overly zealous defending. Sosa's pushed down to P7 for now. Capital Hood closing rapidly. Just dropping tenths off the relative there as Muffin Man's into the pits to probably replace that front wing that he stuck into the rear end of Cyclone last lap. Kirk still continuing to battle with Ramrod for P13 rather, excuse me. Ramrod taking a very aggressive line out of 21. But Kirk carries his momentum onto the start-finish stretch very well. He's not going to have any issue there as Borat is finally in the pits and is out of the pits. Poof. It was like the fastest F1 pit stop ever. They're moving so fast you couldn't even see their hands moving. Incredible skill. Oh, and Ramrod sends it up the inside of Kirk, approaching turn 7, but was way too late on the brakes. Allows Kirk to hold on to P13 for now. Ramrod's going to be shaking his head in frustration with that one. Still only lost about half a second in terms of pace, so these two are going to continue to trade blows for probably the next 10 laps. Working our way past the Parliament building now as Capital Hood passes the pitting Sosa. Capital Hood also puts in the fastest lap of the day, breaking into the 139s. As he pilots his banana boat around Singapore once more. Brackish continues to close the distance to MRC Cyclone. Looks like Chandler has now joined the party. But as these two are battling for position, they are under no responsibility to yield. But it's okay, nobody told Ramrod. But now hopefully Kirk will get right out of the way as Cody's refuses to give us a camera angle to work with. As he does there, and Chandler works his way around once more. Sosa is just half a second off the pace of Brackish, as Borat picks up a 3-second time penalty for pushing the track limits. Ramrod and Kirk are wheel to wheel once more. Approaching turn 7, Kirk has the inside line. Ramrod unable to make it stick and then throws it into the rear end of Kirk. Kirk does very well to adjust for that extra bit of oversteer that he never asked for. Holds on to the front end as Ramrod's going to lose a bit of carbon fiber off his front wing. Sosa passes Brackish for P10 up into the points. Thankfully, Codemasters never, as we saw Ramrod, wow, with a big drift over the Anderson Bridge, somehow saved it, but has now absolutely lost it. As Borat thankfully makes his way around the floundering Williams without incident. Ramrod's probably going to be coming back to the pits to retire. Or just stuffing it, as we're now possibly going to have a safety car, as there's a car on the track. So far, still just a double yellow. As Borat puts in the new fastest lap of the race. I guess he's pretty much off the racing line, so they don't have to throw it, as Reimer's half second off the pace of OOT, continuing to attack Alfa Romeo. Working our way through the grandstand section, now past the marina. As Kappa Hood picks up another 3-second time penalty for pushing the track limits. I think that's his second of the day. Reimer with a little wiggle of hope on entry there, did probably more to upset the balance of his car going through turn 1 than anything. As Muffin Man picks up a 3-second time penalty for trying to find a way around Cyclone. Working our way through Sector 3 now, past the DHL branded chicane. Reimer and OOT look to be trading blows. Reimer's got the inside line. OOT tucks in right behind, and Reimer's up into 5th. Very, very close pass there. Brilliant move by Reimer. Working our way through turn 11 now, where we just saw Ramrod unfortunately DNF. As Muffin Man and Cyclone, I was gonna say, are battling, but Muffin Man just blew the doors off Cyclone. If Formula 1 cars had doors, they'd be blown off. Brackish now 0.6 off the pace compared to MRC Kirk, up into 12th. Reimer picks up a 3-second time penalty as Brackish closes the distance to Ferrari. Kirk very late on the brakes there, holds P12 now. Borat just 4.5 seconds off the pace of Chandler. Close down that interval just a bit. We'll see if he can continue to do so, as there's just under 10 laps left in this Grand Prix. Working our way past the Parliament building now, as Brackish takes a very cheeky line through 10 and 11. Once more over the Anderson Bridge. Brackish getting it slowed down nice and early for the hairpin. And smooth on the power. Unfortunately, seemed to be desyncing with him a little bit. That's why it might look so bumpy. Kirk with a little bit of oversteer on exit there allows Brackish to continue to close the distance. Brackish tries an alternating line but can't find a way around yet. Very difficult to pass in Sector 3 here, as there's really only one optimal way around these chicanes. Brackish with a quick peek to the outside, approaching the last turn, tries to make an over-under stick. He's going to have the help of DRS. We'll see if he can do anything with it. Kirk defends to the inside. Back to the outside, a little bit of a double defend there. Brackish now with a great line through 4, and the help of DRS should be able to make something happen now. As I think his connection quality is playing a bit of a factor here. Ooh, a little bit of wiggle of oversteer on entry there once more. Take a quick peek at Reimer, taking a look at the inside of Delirious through turn 10. Can't make it happen yet. Turn 7 rather, now working our way onto Raffles Boulevard into the DRS zone. Reimer's gonna have the help of less drag. Delirious down into 5th place. See if he can take a stab back at the Red Bull of Reimer, as Brackish now made a wheel-to-wheel with Kirk. Going on to Raffles Boulevard, Brackish up into 12th. Oh, excuse me, that was turn 9 now with a little bit of a lockup from Brackish. Kirk just has to drive smooth and should be able to work his way back up to the rear end of that Red Bull. Capitol Hood now 6/10 off the pace of Double OT, working over the Anderson Bridge. Kirk, take my advice, man, just drive smooth. Picks up a 3-second time penalty for pushing the track limits, trying to catch back up to Brackish. And Kirk's pulling into the pits for his last set of tires to take him through to the end of this race. Capitol Hood should have an opportunity to pass Double OT here, as Double OT is slowly catching up to the McLaren of Delirious. Working our way around turn 19 now. A scene we saw once more, although previously was led by DOR Reimer. Borat has worked his way to within a second of Chandler's pace. We're gonna have to take a quick peek at those guys just after we get through turn 1 here. Double OT and Capitol Hood with the assistance of DRS. Gonna be passing exiting Kirk. Capitol Hood ran very wide. Delirious continues to hold on to P5. Double OT, lot of oversteer on exit. Cap gets well out of the way of the struggling Alfa Romeo and works his way up into P6. Both these drivers again gonna have the help of DRS. We're gonna take a quick look at Borat. Looks to the inside of Chandler, approaching 17. Bit of contact on the right side, loses his end plate, but picks up P1 from Chandler in a very dramatic fashion. As MRC Borat, driving for Alfa Romeo, is your new race leader. The North American Xbox League Tier 1 division. Double OT works his way around Delirious for P6, followed closely behind the lap down MRC Kirk. Take a quick hop on board with the Ferrari for a view of this action. Delirious looks to be coming into the pits there. Kirk works his way around without issue. Chandler's still just over 8/10 off the pace of Borat. Gonna see where Delirious comes out of the pits here. Probably going to be pretty close to Sosa and Muffin Man, who are battling for position. Muffin Man just over a second off the pace of Sosa at the moment, as we see Delirious exiting the pits there without any issue. He's going to be just a second off the pace of Muffin Man. Now on to Raffles Boulevard. Unfortunately, both these drivers missed out on the DRS detection zone by just a little bit. As it looks like Kirk is currently lapping faster than OOT, even though he is a lap down. Looks like he had an opportunity to make a pass there, but as he is a lap down, he knows that he doesn't really want to try to force anything. If OOT yields or lets him by, that's one thing, but he's not looking to make any enemies with just 5 laps to go in the Singapore Grand Prix. As there we have OOT pulling into the pits. Kirk's can get by without issue. We're going to hop back on board with the McLaren of Delirious down here in 10th, just in the points race. Very late on the brakes there compared to Muffin Man. He's on soft tires for some reason. I'm not really sure if those are going to last him to the end of this race. As Muffin Man's just a half second off the pace of Sosa. OOT's coming into the pits. We're going to take a look where he comes out. Should have plenty of room between him and Sosa. Delirious just a 10th off the pace of Muffin Man. Sosa very early on the brakes. Delirious very late. Almost found a way around Muffin Man, but could not make it stick. Muffin Man done very well to drive defensively today. Make that Mercedes as wide as he possibly can. Delirious tries to get a wheel on the inside of the side pod of Muffin Man. Can't make it happen yet. Working our way past the casino once more. Delirious absolutely sends it up the inside. Loses out in a big way. Throws Muffin Man into an almost uncontrollable slide, but Muffin Man again does brilliantly to regain control of his Mercedes and continues to try to chase down the racing point of Sosa. And our race leaders continue to battle for P1 with just 4 laps to go to the conclusion of this Grand Prix. We go cinematic mode for a moment here and watch this battle unfold. We see Borat absolutely tossing it into the last corner here at Singapore. One of my favorite street circuits on the calendar. It makes for some great racing every year. Muffin Man just 0.6 off the pace of Sosa, now within a second, well within DRS range. Double yellow in Sector 1. Whoever it was for is already back on track. Formula Rager with a great drive today so far. Doing very well to stay out of trouble. Chandler's still just over a half second off the pace of MRC Borat. Take a quick look at our total position changes for the day before the race concludes. Again, Formula Rager, yeah, up 5 spots. Brilliant drive from Team Red Bull today. Unfortunately, real rough race for Shadow Wolf, Jay Warren, Ramrod, as well as Kirk's been dealing with a lot of issues all day, it seems. Oh, as Borat loses it going into turn 18 once more. Allows Chandler to work his way up the inside. Borat's really been struggling with the braking point for that turn now. It's the second or third time we've seen him miss his mark there. He's going to be pulling into the pits. And... struggling. Homeboy be struggling. As in all of that, Muffin Man works his way around Sosa. Sosa looks to be very upset about this. Trying to find a way back around the Mercedes. Muffin Man continuing to drive very defensively. Takes the inside line away from Sosa going towards turn 9, now crossing the Anderson Bridge. Sosa gets it slowed down nice and early, but thunderfoots it on the way out, completely loops it and loses a position to the McLaren of Delirious. As he's now down in 10th position, just within the points range. At the end of this Grand Prix, still about 2 seconds to go, 2 laps to go. And barring anything too exciting, it looks like Chandler driving undercover as yours truly will be your race winner. As he's got a 30-second gap between B-Dunk as Borat pitted last lap for some fresh soft tires and hopefully a new front wing after shearing it off on entry. I guess he was trying to make things easier for his pit crew, you know, he's just being a thoughtful guy. He's like, why should they do all this work when I could just bin it on pit entry and just get rid of my front wing for him? So, he's just out there using his head, you know? We might have a last lap battle developing between Capitol Hood and Reimer. Oh, we do. Reimer unfortunately lost it coming out of turn 21, and that battle turned into just Cap working his way by a very out of shape Reimer. Reimer's so out of shape, he's going to be pulling back into the pits to replace his front wing. He's going to lose. Ooh, it's going to be close. He might be ahead of Formula Rager when he exits. Rager's pretty far back. Gonna hop on board now with the Red Bull and take a look. As Capitol Hood's now up into 4th place. Just off the podium range. Borat's under 2 seconds off the pace of B-Dunk. But yeah, unfortunately, Reimer loses 2 positions to WOT and Rager as a result of that incident. Heartbreaking for him as Delirious just 4/10 off the pace of Muffin Man, who's currently in 8th place. But we gotta take a quick look at Borat and B-Dunk. Borat putting those soft tires to use, just 4/10 off the pace of Williams. Try to bounce between him and Delirious quickly. Delirious should have the assistance of DRS approaching turn 7. Muffin Man got a great exit though, carried a lot of speed. Delirious unable to make anything happen yet as we are on the last lap. Just no use leaving anything on the table. Just a quick look at Borat once more going around the last turn. B-Dunk still in front. B-Dunk holds P2 as Borat puts in your fastest lap of the race with a 1:38 and picks up that extra point. And up into P2 as we're now on the last lap. Excuse me. And double caution in Sector 2. Can't see who it's for. Probably not too bad. As B-Dunk's unfortunately already fallen over a second in pace to Borat. We keep our eyes glued on the McLaren of Delirious battling with Muffin Man for 8th place. Just half a second separating these two drivers. Over a 30-second interval between 1st and 2nd place. Chandler again with an absolutely brilliant drive. Muffin Man pulling away a little bit here now as these two drivers work their way onto the last lap. Muffin Man continuing to hold on to P8, negotiates turns 1, 2, and 3 with ease. As Chandler crosses the line and wins the Singapore Grand Prix, presented by MRC. Of course, these are your NAXBL Tier 1 drivers, the best of the best on the green console. Delirious now a little bit over a second off of pace compared to Muffin Man. I'm not sure if he's going to have what it takes on this last lap to make something happen. As we hear the fireworks in the background, Delirious slowly fading into Muffin Man's rearview mirror. But yeah, other than Muffin Man's little mistake of a lockup into the rear end of Cyclone earlier, it's had a great drive today. Formula Rager up 6 spots, Muffin Man up 4, and Brackish up 3. Those are your biggest movers of the day. As Reimer steals the fastest lap from Borat with a 1:37.762, he's going to pick up an extra point to add to his driver championship standings after this race. As Muffin Man and Delirious bin it in celebratory fashion across the finish line. Delirious picked up 8th from Muffin Man. Muffin Man fell victim to too many penalties accrued over the entire race. And what a great race it was. Battles from start to finish. We're going to get our post-race interviews set up in just a moment here, as there is your race winner. And here is just a little bit of information for you guys in terms of scheduling for MRC. Of course, if you're interested, please head on over to our website and join our Discord if you're interested in driving. And we hope to see you all next week for the Russian Grand Prix at Sochi. Sure to be a great race again. As we will be joined now by MRC Borat. Borat, great drive today, man. What happened on the pit entry at the end there, bud?
Nope. Before they get in here, they definitely work together. They did a heck of a job working together. Total BS, but, they're giving each other the spots and made sure B-Dunk held me up. Didn't have a chance after that, but, hate to see it. Just, load of hooey. I binned it myself. King of the bins. Yeah,
Sir Bennington reporting for duty. But
Sir Bennington. Yeah, absolutely.
I hear you, man.
But regardless. And I got held up in qualifying by someone when I was on my flying lap for the last one. And that is going into the reports.
Well, that's all good, man. Apparently
there's a lot of salt.
Yeah.
A lot of salt on me right now. A lot of salt.
It's understandable, man. It's Singapore is always an interesting one, But yeah. I think our other race winners went right off to their locker room. So on behalf of all of us at MRC, we're gonna end it there. Hope to see you next week, same time, same place. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Good